Okay, welcome. Thank you for coming this afternoon. Today is January 3rd, 2013. So this will be our first of our new year conversations with Ryan and the Wisdom Group. Today we put out that it would be the topic of soul evolution. The law of soul evolution means the shared goals of the soul, our soul, evolving, whether they realize it or not. We all are reincarnated because we desire to evolve spiritually. This is an open-ended topic. And we ask that everyone joins in questions and answers after Ryan does the teaching. Are you ready?
Greetings. It is a different introduction for us. We are used to the bell. We enjoy the bell very much. But there was the bell in the beginning, which also helped synchronize some of the rhythms and things that are happening in this room now. Soul evolution. Beautiful choice of topics. The keeper was not even slightly aware or not prepared in any sort of fashion for such a topic, but we enjoy such topics as these. For the evolution of all beings, all things, are in its own movement into its own evolution of who the spiritual side of things are. It is a progression of all things. A transmutation, as we've talked about, of energy moving into form. It is what you are into form of spirit. And you are moving in your own ways. Through this way of reality, this bubble of biology that you hold within yourselves, as you walk on a planet such as this, and you experience the great experiences that you have in this particular life of lives. It is a evolution that is yearned within all beings, all living beings, in the deeper sense than you may understand. For you see beauty in the plants that you have around you, and they are beautiful because it is the sense that is within them, as it is within you, to be beautiful in your own particular ways, whatever that might be, the talents that you each have, the light that you carry within yourselves, the fractured parts of the light that you carry from home. My dear ones, you have all of that within you, these great beautiful potentials. And these evolution ways within you are also evolution ways, spirituality. You may interchange that with the inner understanding of love. It is the evolution of the love that you carry within yourselves, and you bring that forward in your life. So you are evolving lovingly and spiritually and resonating and harmonizing with yourself. It is a progression of many things, a conglomeration of human evolution. Humanity on the whole, on its own journey, as it is with all beings and all things throughout the whole galaxies. From the very tiniest of things that you can imagine to the greatest of things. There is a great evolution that is taking place, a progression, a movement. And yet there is a germination period. For a seed has great potentials. You may enjoy blueberries, for instance, but those blueberries happen in the potential of a small seed. And then there is a time that those seeds are planted, and it takes germination. It takes on the forms. The potentials become realized. And through a progression of time, the same is true with the fruits that you carry. The fruits that are within you, the potentials, the great many potentials. For you have a great vast array of avenues that you can be taking at once. And as you are on your timeline, you are choosing, each of you, your own fashion of what it is you would like to experience. And many times you have set up before this life what it is that you would experience, or who it is that you would meet along the way to help guide you, bump you into certain ways, and that would be your new mentor and new thing that you would be experiencing. There's an evolution in all things. It takes a progression of time many times to see the maturity of what it is that you are. But as you follow yourself and you harmonize with what it is that's in your heart, harmonizing that with your life, then you see the great potentials all come together, because that is what you are. That is you expressing you in the greatest depths that you are. You are allowing yourself at this point to be in full power of what it is that you are. And you own that, dear ones. You own this deeply within yourselves. We enjoy bringing this out to see the evolution that you are here now. This little group here, each individual that you are. See that within yourselves. Progressing yourselves in such ways. It is a natural evolution of yourself. To follow what it is resonates within your heart, within the balancing of all those things that are in harmony with yourself, mind, body. It's all part of the same source. And you are deeply connected to what it is that you would like to carry here now. We enjoy talking to you this way, but we will open it up for questions.
We love hearing you talk to us this way. Myself, I look at you almost as a mentor. As a group. The voice that you bring the information through with, and I know a lot of it is almost an affirmation of remembering. And I think there's a great excitement just within the group of people within this room, because we do feel big things, great things happening. Soul evolution, that is a big subject. Because we do live in time loops. We understand that. We too, myself, I would like to hear you for just maybe 5 more minutes, just go a little deeper, continue what it is that you were talking about. Go a little more in depth. Give us some real food. Yeah.
Real food. Knowledge is very in-depth food. And we appreciate your appreciation for us being able to speak among you. But it is truly our honor, for we are sitting among the masters, and you don't realize this within you. We are among the mentors. Here, now, you. We want to see this come of you, of each of you. For you are the empowered beings that live this life of this energy, of this bubble of biology. You are commanding your life in a sense, even though you don't feel like you are. We want you to step into this idea deeply, that you are resonating with it is within yourselves. The thoughts that are there are taking a form. It may not be instantaneous as it is with the seed, but it does change the vibration of what it is that you are. And though you have these negative thoughts, as you may see them as, you can change, as you would change a garden. You can form what it is that, as you are tending what it is that you are thinking about, you're taking responsibility in what it is that you are making those choices on, and you are now cultivating what it is that you want to become in those things. So allow yourself this empowerment of yourself, that you know that you now are the master of your life. We like to say this because you are truly the co-creators of your life, the co-creators of a massive entanglement of chaotic universe. And you see this as a very limited thing in their beingness, the very individualized way of seeing this as a human. But you are these potentials. You are these creators. And that means you create it all. The mixed vibrations that you get, that you're not quite enjoying now, are from some of the belief systems that you have not quite uncovered. And we do repeat ourselves in some ways in doing so when we talk about some of these things. But we enjoy the idea that you get it on some levels, that you are truly creating the reality. If you do not like for instance, the abundance that you are getting in your life, you can change it. And you can change it in multitudes of ways. There are many ways, but it is harmonizing yourself with the vibration that you are within yourself first. Then it becomes easy to take the natural actions, because the actions will come about. Your physical reality does change with those things. And as you are aligning to the new opportunities that are now available to you now, then it is very easy to allow yourself the synchronicity connected to the chaos of all that there is to be able to walk an easy and blissful life to the beat of the harmonization of your heart, to the beat of the universe that is around you, that you are creating. For that is the creator being that you are, each of you here. You have your own light and your own talents here. And some of you have undiscovered talents, and some of you are also hiding. And we know that you feel that this is maybe something that you cannot donate to humanity now, but it's already been done before. But now, it has not in your flavor, not in your way. You have your own individual fingerprints, your own identity to what it is that you are, each of you. And you don't understand the potentials that only you carry, that only you have, and some have stepped aside for you to be here in this particular place and moment now in your life, your overall grand scheme of your life, for you to carry the part and piece that you have, and honor it, hold it, that is yours. Take ownership and be empowered by that. It is hard sometimes, and we do sense one of you is thinking, how is it that I even feel that I have this peace? What is this peace that I have? You're on your own trips of discovery. That is part of what it is with this veil that you have come into being with. Allow yourself to understand that you carry much of yourself, your source energy, what it is that you are joyful about. And you're allowing yourself to move through in and out of forms. And allowing yourself this idea that you can create yourself the form and playground and whatever it is that you like to discover about yourself. Many times it is pushed through negative, seemingly circumstances out of you, that it is you become and you see this new side of yourself. And you realize other potentials out of great misery. It doesn't have to be this way. Sometimes you can discover yourself in these other ways of your dual realities. And we're not saying that you must always have a blissful reality in order to be absolutely happy. For if you are always blissful, then you are also not understanding what it is to be blissful. Sometimes you must be at the most deepest valley to know what it is like to see the grand scheme from a great top of a mountain.
Do we always have to know both sides of the coin? Do we all have to know the dark side as well as the light side?
You do not need to know one side or another. It is typical that you see one side or the other. Things are very polarized, and it's been that way for many, many eons of time here. But it doesn't always mean that you must see the 3D picture of it all, or a generalization of the whole entirety of what it is. But it does helpful to see a bigger perspective of all that there is around you, around the whole circumstance of what it is you're trying to understand.
So keeping our focus on the whole versus part or piece of it is more beneficial to keeping the energy moving.
It can be taken in a different way here. I think some of you are thinking as a whole, in terms of a whole group. In other times, it is a thinking of a whole in terms of a person thinking as it is in terms of the whole part of a picture. It is helpful to see the grander scheme of things. We would say if you are looking at a map, you would like to see as many points as there are on the map to be able to navigate what it is that you would like to understand about the terrain that you are on. Is much the same in many of the problems, circumstances you have. Now, we're not saying that you need to be entirely speaking for humanity as one, but speaking for yourself as one, as what it is that you would like to be and understand in a certain way of life. For if you are, like we have mentioned in the past, polarized on one side of things, you have stopped expanding yourself by not seeing the entirety of what it is. For if you are so polarized on one thing, you have a hard time expanding because you are denying yourself the other side of it. So seeing the wholeness of what it is in the entirety of every part of what it is that you are looking at, then you are seeing things from a perspective that you can expand and understand on much easier. So we would say in a general term that this is a very easy way to understand many of the things that you encounter in this way, but not particularly speak as a whole, for you are not quite ready at this point. Humanity is taking the steps to be more that way, synchronizing more and more with each other.
Is that not, though, what helps to balance or create a greater conscious awareness? It's understanding both sides of the coin that we were just talking about, so that you become more comfortable. And does that not allow you to transmute those things that aren't conducive to us as individuals, to create more of a balanced harmonics?
Yes, in many ways, yes, you are balancing yourself with the harmonics. You are also transmuting the energy very quickly, for you are processing things through your greater eyes of who it is that you are, stepping into the power that you are, understanding with the eyes of Source what it is that you are looking at, and your perspectives change more rapidly as you see situations come to you. And you allow now the energy. You are using the energy to work for you, not against you. But we are also saying, too, that you do not need to sway someone from seeing one side of the coin. If they would like to just see the one side of the coin or the other, it is okay. For they are on their own path and their own journey to experience life in such a way. Part of the evolution of all things. For you are experiencing your own life in this particular reality, in this fashion, as you would like it to be. And so is another person. Although they may have entirely different belief systems, it matters not. But it is helpful for you to be progressing yourselves in such a way that you see the entirety, even though it is not possible for a human to see the entirety of all the vibrations that are happening around itself. It is just simply impossible. But the more that you are able to expand yourself in such a way, then you can also transmute energy, as you were saying, harmonizing yourself in such a way that you can also understand a greater depth of many more things, causing the part of yourself that wants to expand greatly to understand more of itself. It begins to become a little more richer for you, in the sense that you are taking on now more energy and you're understanding more. You are creating a bigger funnel for yourself of energy, of things, and you are also taking more responsibility for it as you are doing that. So you are taking much more of life in.
You said that we create our own reality, and I believe that. I've read that in many places. Can we create it intentionally, create what we want intentionally, by keeping our focus on what it is we want? Is that the way we do it?
Holding an intention is a good thing, and we wouldn't discourage you from doing this. There are many fashions of being able to create your own reality. It is, yes, holding intentions would be a very helpful thing because now you have a direction. But it is how the fashion is, how you are holding this intention. If you are feeling that this intention is a very limiting thing, it's a very hard thing for you to be into this new way, an idea that you would like to be a certain way, then this intention that you have isn't going to quite benefit you in the same way that if you were to hold the intention with a different idea, a different feeling about this intention. Like this intention can be a part of a resonation that you can be a part of. Now you're holding a new energy, new potentials. Now you must know that the seed takes a while. Thoughts take a while. In this reality especially. So allow this to sort of work itself out. As long as you are holding the vibration, the opportunities begin to organize them yourselves. And then you become more congruent to the opportunities to become available in the physical reality. And as you are holding this thought, feeling, vibration, then you are now allowing yourself the opportunity to connect with that intention.
So it's being aware of our feelings and thoughts.
Being aware, yes, of feelings, thoughts, opportunities, what feels synchronicity towards the thing that it is that you would like to become. Now, if you are holding an intention that is so great, so drastic, you may see great and drastic things happen in your life. And then instead of entirely freaking out, as many do, as they desire a new life for themselves, as relationships fall, as things go away, they lose balance many times in these ways. If you are holding a steady focus, you will see how this is all transmuting the energy. You are opening a space. You are clearing out the closet for a new thing.
So this is the way we manifest.
It is a way of manifesting. It is similar to a way that a woman would, for instance, be in a nesting mode before a baby comes. For an idea is coming. An idea, physical vibration is coming. And they are making room for it. In their own way, in their own sense. This is a natural law and rhythms of many things in this sort of fashion.
Thank you.
Is it true that we bring things from our past lives into this lifetime? And those are like old energies that we need to get rid of to continue our path this time?
It is true that things in your past lives do affect you in certain ways, that you have what we would call scar tissue that affects you in such ways. For it can influence the way that you are looking at things in a directive way, that you don't do things or you do things because it influences the way that you are. So you're allowing a vibration that is happening within yourself that you may not be in full realization of it happening, but it is sort of a dual reality for you. And it can be a limiting one or a safe net for you because you did not want to experience this particular thing. So you have different templates that you take on to this life from another part of yourself that has either wants it to be kind of a shunned thing, or it is something that is also present, that doesn't allow the energy to flow as easily. If you were to imagine yourself a funnel, for instance, that you are, a vortex that you are, and there is a wave, or you would see, for instance, the air that you have around you, or the water that is here, and sometimes as there are rocks in the way, there is a movement of energy that is not quite a complete flow. And some of these are templates that you have set up for yourselves so that you wouldn't experience a painful thing that you have experienced before. It is a mechanism that you have set up for yourself. And other times it is what we would say more or less is scar tissue, that you are holding something about something. And these are energies that you have as you are correlating with the energies around you, as the acquaintances that you have and you hold in your life. Those are all things that are part of what it is that you may feel something about someone instantaneously, for it is something that you have had a connection with in a past life. So if you are seeing these things, it can influence you in those ways. Then you also have in your DNA Akashic records of what it is, that of who you are in many different forms. Now, to the depth that you understand these things, each of you are going to be on a different sort of plane within these directives. You're going to understand the depths in a certain way. For some of you may understand a little piece of what it is that you were before, and others, you did not want to carry this with you. You wanted to do something entirely different and become a different thing, not to experience this over and over and over again. For you have mastered that. You have taken on now a new experience by blocking some of that. And so you have set yourselves up with these sorts of things. But you're also now beginning to take the keys and unlocking parts of yourselves. And you are now beginning to see what it is that you would like to continue holding as templates for yourself, what it is that you would like to continue doing or not doing anymore. And you are now changing the templates of what it is that you are, reformatting yourselves. That is part of the evolution of spirituality also. And you are doing this also whether you know it or not.
So there's no real judgment.
No.
I mean, it's just experiencing and then evolving through that experience.
Humanity judges much. But when it is all over, there's no judgment.
Is it important for us to clear things from our past lives?
It can be beneficial if it is a blockage. For instance, if you are trying to become something different than what it is you are, you may be looking at yourself what it is that is stopping you from doing that. Many times they are hidden within yourselves in the fear part of yourselves. You have discrete fears that you may not be a full understanding of why you have these fears. But these fears come from somewhere. You can begin to change much of these things about yourselves. Take more of the initiative to change this about you. Vibrations can do that to you. As you are listening to music and music moves you to do something, you can move through something in the same sense as you are telling yourself you want to be something different, or you want to clear something about yourself that is not quite incongruent with what it is that is about your life. Speaking your truth, for instance, may have been something for one or two of you here that you may have been killed trying to express this. And so you have been a little more shy about expressing yourself. These may be a scar tissue, for instance. But we are not saying whether to take this off or on. This is solely you understanding yourselves in these ways. So there may be limitations that you are setting yourself up for that may not or may be serving you. You are now beginning to take the controls, though, dear ones. So you make it the way you like it in this way of life. Your timeline now. Your DNA now.
Is there reincarnation on other planets?
Yes. It's energy moving in and out of forms. There is a constant flow of energy. You are reincarnating now, and now, and now.
Well, since we last talked our session, we've had the shift.
Yes.
The December 26th shift. And we know we've made it because Mary Ann's here. And we know Mary Ann, the great force would take Mary Ann. And we all are very excited because we have made it. Because Mary Ann showed up today. But what do you... Yeah. So what is the forces from on the other side of the veil think of how we did as a whole and going through that movement?
as again we would say, there's no judgment. But there has been some speculation, for this time has been an interesting one. For it has been much of a man-made sort of a thing, as we have mentioned. But you have gone through your own compression of understanding, and yet you have been through your also many different things. You have been evolving as humans. You have been evolving yourselves galactically. You have been evolving yourselves in many different forms of ages. They call this now the New Age. You have now entered a new age. But what was that age just before this age?
Old age.
Old age.
You asked for that one.
The old, the past. And what will be the new age tomorrow?
The old age.
There is a progression of time, a movement here. Yes, you are moving rapidly, we would say, in your own directions. There has been much speculation around this time. It has been through eons of time that this time has been looked at. And there has been in many different forms of people and races of things seeing this. And you're progressing through a physical, holding your physical templates of what it is that you are. Very impressive, we would say, on a different scale. And it is very interesting too, because it's not normal. There is usually, and there will still be, very much chaos happening, that you are still understanding, transmuting. But now it is going to be sort of like you have come to a mountain, and now you are going to be getting your descent. Things are going to be a little more downhill from now, although it will seem like you cannot get so much done in the same amount of time, for you see the potentials of what you can do at the same time that you have available. So it's an interesting array of things that are happening simultaneously. You feel that you can do more, and yet you feel you're doing less. And you're going to see some of this within yourselves. And allow yourselves the idea to begin to make the legacy that you have been wanting in your life. It is within yourselves that you are progressing your light. And no matter what age it is that you are in, you have been here now. You have marked this as your time. So make it your time. What humanity does with this time is up to you. What you do with this time is up to you. How grand it will be. What will happen from here. How much of this power you will take from the other side of who you are, and to put it in play now will be up to you.
Is it true, or do you know if it's true if we have like 5 exit points? That's what I've heard. You have 5 exit points where you can exit this life and go back and go start another.
You have many exit points that you have particularly put up for yourself. There may be some with 5. We wouldn't say that there will be always that, but there are many. There can be many. It is always going to be determined by you.
How do we find more clarity where we're wanting to go? Because it sometimes seems that some things are unclear when you're really asking for help, for clarity and more peace and letting go of some of the past so you can move forward with happiness.
Happiness is an interesting thing, for it is something that you are not feeling that you can be congruent with within yourself, that you are not experiencing something that you are not or unhappy with. How you find clarity, truth, many have been searching for a very long time. What is the purpose of life? What is the clear path that I should walk? Each of you know when it feels good to you to do something or does not. What each of you know if you feel empowered to be in a situation or not. You feel when things resonate with you or it does not. We would say the answers, again, as much as you may not like to hear this, is within yourself. It is in the indicators of your emotions. Know them well. They are your guides. It is also within the thoughts that you have. And in also the belief systems and the constructs of those things that your life is being led by. Seeing the past can, or a negative thing for instance, you can progress past that by seeing what it is, the great truths that were left behind from such an idea, such an incident from happening. For yes, out of the most greatest depths of the hardest times and things to experience, you are also finding what it is that you would like to experience maybe again, and also what it is that you would like to resonate to, maybe in a greater detail. It is making room for other opportunities, although it is hard to see that sometimes. You find this clarity within yourself, seeing the great depths, the gems that are in the hard things that you do not want to particularly dwell into so many times. For you have another side of you, of that part of the situation, that you can pull from and add that to be your wind that is at your back now. It is much the same with this shift that has happened. You have been sort of, each of, we would say, humanity at this time, the wind has been at your face, and now you are feeling the wind a little bit differently. What are you going to do with it? Blossom the things that are within yourself. The time is now to step up. You are all here. When is the now time going to be the good time? To be the part of the source that you are. We were not expecting a quantum leap here when we speak about this in the terms of the fact that you are now going to be suddenly doing all the things that you are happy. But as you align yourself and allow the germination of this vibration that you want to hold for yourselves to be your reality, then the opportunities will show up for you.
So when you're told by a person that's supposedly a healer, which in a sense they are, but you're told something that doesn't resonate with you, then that's your intuition saying that's not correct for yourself. And don't listen. Is that right?
It may be true for you. You must understand your belief systems are going to reflect the outer exterior of your reality. So what it is that you believe that may work for yourself will present itself. And if it is not congruent, it may not work for you. What is congruent, I'm going to say, will have a greater potential for you. What you feel will work. Will work. You must feel this within the being of who it is that you are. You must know what it is that you understand to feel right within yourself. Know that all of what it is that you are is a vibration, my dear. It is all energy. You are all energy expressing itself. When something is not right within yourself, it is simply an energy form that is not quite something you would like to have within yourself, but you are resonating in some way within it. So if you are changing what it is that you are also changing vibration. You must change it enough to be congruent to a new entirety of that new vibration that you are. It may sound complicated, but in actuality, it is just changing the vibration of all that you are into something else. We're not saying to change your belief systems, but if you feel congruent in the way that a healing can take place, it will take its form.
When we were created, we were given a unique identity, sovereignty, and the ability to create. And I struggle with the juxtaposition of being created, being eternal, and being perfection already, with creating, which seems to imply that there's a need to change something or make, right? Something that I've been struggling with is that kind of the dynamic of the energy of the universe, that we are perfect and we are eternal already, which should make us not want to do anything. Right? We're creators, and why would anybody create anything if they're already perfect?
It is the part of itself that wants to express itself in a new way. It is like, for instance, you have enjoyed your appetizer for a meal, but you are still hungry for more. What it is would you like to bring into your reality? Is that going to be the one thing that you will always stay on? For energy is always going to be in its moving form. You are not going to always have the same wants that you have in every moment, for you are a changing vibration. Therefore, you are going to want to progress yourself into some other form. And
but why? If we're already perfect, why would we even want to do that?
It is almost like if you were to look at a film that is happening, and you would see the individual clips of what it is that are there. If you are stuck in a still clip, it would be quite a different reality. And we're not saying that this is not something that would be something of a bad thing. For things have its own rhythms that are much slower than what it is that you understand. For instance, you will see trees. They take their more time to grow in this reality. And the leaf on a tree, the cells on a leaf would be a little bit happening a lot more faster. They see much more, and it's more, and it's gone in a much faster pace. Now, with other parts of the tree, the bark of the tree, it is another live form. Parts of it. It's going to have a different sort of energy. It holds another rhythm. As, for instance, as you see with certain birds that you have in the marshes, they will wait very long for fish, for instance. They have a new patience. They are waiting, but still wanting to express themselves in a way. It may be a different rhythm. And yes, you are perfect. We do say this. We're not denying that, for you are on your path where you should be exactly now and now. But where you were just then was somewhere else than you are now. You have moved, a slight movement. It is almost like there is a film going and it's not stopping. You're not turning it off. It is just simply there.
So the issue is in thinking that the perfection is something static.
Right.
Yes.
Isn't the perfection having an insatiable appetite to keep going, to keep growing, to keep expanding?
The appetite is always there, even in the still frame.
Yeah.
Can we use the word expansion there?
Instead of perfection?
No, I mean that we're constantly expanding and wanting to experience more and be more and
Explore potentialities.
I'm sorry.
Explore potentialities.
Yeah, that's another.
So it is that the being of who it is that you are, yes, in essential, in this moment, is very perfect. But is there wants?
Mm-hmm.
Always.
Always.
And there will always be wants about yourself. It is not that you deny yourself of these wants. It is not that you have completed it all. It's what it is on the horizon. And it's almost like the carrot on the cave in front of the horse. It keeps the momentum going that you are trying to get something. Except for even when you achieve the carrot, you're not fulfilled. As many of the Olympics people would, they have dreamed their whole life to get the gold, and they get the gold. It is not the end, the one thing that made that perfected moment. It is not incomplete of all that they are. There's always going to be potentials. You can live many lifetimes within one. You can live a great lifetime. You may get very bored after living for so long with these experiences that you are experiencing here on this planet. But you are choosing and you're setting yourselves up for these situations that you are in to be. To expand yourself in these ways that you can always be fulfilled in certain ways in your experiences. It is what you experience that creates the depth of what it is that you enjoy, and how fulfilled you are in that still frame. But there will always be a part of you that will want an expansion, and it may not always be in this particular way and form in this body of biology that you have here. It is an interesting thing, for you are seeing such a limited vibration. There is so much more that is all around you, that you have experienced already. And you are grasping many different things from this particular life and reality now.
So there's expansion on other planes as well.
Yes.
Is ours different than the other planes?
All planes are different in their own unique ways, but you have planes that are very similar. You have a plane on this earth that is very similar to other planes that are actually out there. But in fact, if you were to be taken to another place, visually you would be amazed how similar the planes were.
I got an email just last night about UFOs. I know we're changing the subject a little bit here, but and of course they were trying to sell a book. But I know that there's other life forms in our universe, and that they have visited our planet, and some of them are still here. But you know, they try to hype it up to where it's something to be afraid of. My belief system is that I'm not afraid of them, and I'm wondering, is that correct, or should we be afraid?
If we were to tell you one thing or another,
What good is that going to do you?
Well, what kind of answer do you want there?
there are different sides of the coin. And yes, there may be ones that are not so friendly, not so within the congruent agenda as you would have them to be. And there is also some that are here to also shedding light on humanity in their own ways, giving their time to do such things, to be helping to not cause certain destructions that could have been many times over. Although it is not their responsibility to be intervening in certain ways, they have been encouraging in certain ways the idea of humanity and the powers that they have within themselves. And so they have been in their form of being here a part of this. And so they are here now trying to help in their strange way of being elusive, for that is part of what is a congruent thing with all the governments right now. Things are opening up. Light is being shed on the subject more and more and more. And yes, there are not so pleasant things that are there. There are two sides of the coin you must understand. There is an array of colors, of shades of gray.
Some of them have actually even disabled nuclear weapons, right?
That is correct.
The U.S. Air Force came forward recently and said that.
It's a good thing.
Flying saucer would fly over and disable their weapons.
Cool.
Yeah.
This also is further shows just how we are perfect, but there is a continuation
Right.
of growth, and there is a continuation of what is perfect.
Well, that's the bigger question that I have, because sort of my concept of perfect is that you
You're
don't,
finished.
you don't want to change anything,
Yeah.
but
It's done.
they're saying that that's not really what perfection
We,
is about.
we can't do that because action, I mean, you can react or you can act, but there also is thought to that because it creates thought by doing it. It's even like our interaction with these light beings. I mean, this is perfect, but every week I can't wait to come and share more time.
Yeah.
And so it's an expansion of the interaction that makes it even more perfect.
I have another question. I did a meditation not too long ago, and I got this sense of, I don't know if you can look to my mind and understand maybe a little bit better, but I got this sense of, and you're invited to do so if you wish, I got this sense of pure mind, of some kind of idea of a way of having kind of a pure thought of one thing at a time. And I kind of got the sense that a lot of times my energies are disjoint and sort of Brownian motion all over the place. And the idea of the pure mind as being a very directed consciousness in a very specific, on a very specific thing. I'm not describing it very well. It's terrible words to describe it, but I feel like I'm onto something in terms of manifestation, that's a part of manifestation, being very, very clear about what you want to manifest. Can you speak to that?
We would say that you must, in some ways, there is a progression that needs to take and occur. For instance, how would you know what car you would like to enjoy, for instance, if you were not to see the idea of seeing all of them, maybe even sitting in all of them? But we're not saying that you must go sit in all of them to know what car you would like to have or what exact experience that you would like to have. But be walking in the general direction of that experience. For you may not have a perfect idea for the perfect construct of what it is that you would like to have in the greatest form that would be the most benefit to you. But as if you're holding that with a great intention that you can be congruent with such thing, then it is. And so it is. And you are calling that into existence by that initial idea, that thought form of creation. Yes, you may be not in harmonization with all that it is that is in the way that a thought form can come to you. For you must be in balance with mind, heart, energy. All of these things are a part of yourself that you are now understanding. You are bringing about. And yes, we're talking on a greater sense of all that you are. So, in the forms that you are, in the form that you are now, you are constructed of many different forms and resonancies within your own body. For instance, you have thousands and thousands of millions of different things going on within yourselves and the constructs of yourselves. And they're not going to always be incongruent with each other. That is why you have certain things that you're not happy with when it comes to illness or disease or things. These are energy forms that are changing within yourselves, and you may not have a perfect congruency to what it is that it is to be a human and having a perfect idea of what it is to be in a perfect situation with the perfect thought that gets you to the perfect design. We do say that as you progress through time, you are perfecting yourself into narrowing the fields of what it is that you would like to experience and hold for yourself, the gems that you would like to take upon and bring about. That becomes you in the vibration. That becomes the congruent part of you manifesting, zeroing in, focusing yourself into something. And then you are taking on the new physiology of yourself in that moment. You are taking on the new idea of what it is that you are. And you are controlling, managing that And you are managing your vibration in that. And so you are taking now the controls of what it is, and now you are forming even better forming thoughts. You are peeling the layers of these thoughts to the more pure thoughts that you are trying to discover about yourself by bringing in more and more of that. It creates a better, more beautiful thing. It is expanding on itself. And so with this expansion on itself, it is also like a glass that is focusing the light. And you are zeroing it in, and you're bringing it brighter and brighter. And you are becoming what it is in a more focused sense of what that thought form will be. Yes, what it is you'll focus on, you know this already in your mind's eye. What it is that you are thinking about, you bring about. You've heard many of these things through your philosophies and philosophers, as we would say, your teachers. But it does not have the perfect thought. It does have the perfect way of applying yourself into these ways that brings on the new knowledge. Knowledge being that you are walking into that idea. And that brings expansion to yourself. That brings on new thoughts and new perfections to that. It is a natural progression of evolution of spirituality.
Is that too like a form of energy medicine that actually helps to clear the body of some of the things we hold from earlier times?
Yes, and we would say you are on to something there.
Why,
Yes.
thank you.
Would it be possible for to ask for a gift or assistance from you at this time for everyone in the room, since we're starting a new age, new era?
And what type of gift are you envisioning here?
Oh,
Well-
nothing more than $250.
Well, something like an energy medicine, like Rick was talking about, something that maybe if each one of us holds within us a thought, having you help us move through that, assist us.
We do not make you do. We encourage. It is your journeys that is the greatest joy.
Asking if you would help. And it's sort of like, shed a little more light, or,
Focus,
move us a little.
Let me ask a specific question.
Along those lines.
Let me ask you a specific question. The family that I grew up in, my siblings, my brothers and sisters, we went through a lifetime of experiences, and some of them were not so desirable, and even at times where I may have evoked a painful thought or an experience for them, and we haven't worked it out and been able to let go of it after 40 years, 50 years. Does it take both of us working together in tandem to clear each other's bodies? Or I know I can do my part on my own, but I still feel a resonance when I'm around them, and I would like to find a way to clear that from both of us.
You must know that you are in conjunction with another being that must also have the same belief systems of that you are trying to clear. For it is that you can control much of the stuff that is happening within yourself. But it is not much that you can do for another being in the same sense, although you can be a healer for someone else. It just must take a congruent vibration that creates a reality that can be in the distortion of that is created already. There must be a clearing of that in the same way from the other entity as well.
That is exactly what I'm asking. We can be a healer for someone else, and to create that vibration. And I don't mean I'm not looking to be a martyr, but I am looking for a way to help clear my DNA and possibly that of the other. Now, I know you spoke on it briefly. Can you go deeper into that, how we can do that? It's not my mission to heal anybody else, but to clear that combative energy, so to speak.
They have to give you permission to do it.
Well, absolutely.
That's what I think what he was saying. And they have to have the same thought process or whatever. And they have to work in the same context, right? I mean, isn't that what you're saying? The other person does.
There are belief systems that each of you hold. They must be congruent with what it is that you are trying to manifest. You cannot manifest a reality necessarily for another subject, another being, for they are in their own reality itself. You can help manipulate the realities that are around you naturally, so you can be subject to realizing a new change that is taking place. And as long as that is taking place and they are realizing it can take place, then healing, if you would like to call it that, is that way. It can take place. A vibrational change takes place, but you must know that also the controls are being taken back to you, that you are changing the physiology of who it is that you are. You're changing the DNA structure of who it is that you are. Now, you must be very specific about what it is that you are in a certain way. For instance, we will go back to saying DNA can be taken from one life to another, as it was mentioned earlier today. You may hold a vibration that is very strong in a certain way that changes the molecular construct of what it is that your DNA is. And that gets passed on through what you call your genes to the next person. And this stays within a family, for it is a big thing that keeps on moving. It is like vibration, a energy that continues to move. Now, what is now happening is that you are now taking the controls and saying, well, maybe I do not want to continue with this. But you must take an effort, a vibrational change that is great enough to change the genes of what it is that you are. Now you are taking the controls of that, but it will take quite a bit of almost a healing within the molecular construct of what it is that you are as your own physiology that you have passed on from your parents. It is almost like your parents we'll just use this as a metaphor, but there is some truth to this as well. As thought forms as they were, now you are a new one. And you're progressing on and passing on new thought forms as you are having offspring of that. And so there is a change, a connection that you have with all of humanity in this same sort of fashion. You are changing much of that. Now you are taking the controls and you are now creating a new offspring. Now if this has already created itself, now you must change and they must change a bit of themselves and go into some of the roots, some of the scar tissue that has created that, as you may say.
So what you're speaking of right now is that not one of the cornerstones of actual soul evolution?
That is.
Having the ability to understand that and then having the ability to actually perform that, so to speak. Without judgment, without...
You are taking the controls of yourself. You are taking the controls of what it is that you are. Not fully aware of how to do this in this whole process. This is also a journey for yourselves, but we are asking you to explore this deeply, because like it is with this one person who is wanting a certain healing that may have been beneficial for the mentor that was trying to heal this person, may have felt congruent or not to this individual, may be the same in your situation, that it may feel congruent in a certain way to this other individual or not. But it is within yourself. What feels congruent, then it is. It is part of your belief systems. It is all conjunctured with your whole part of yourself. If you don't quite resonate it, you have mixed vibrations about it, there is something there. And there may be a valid dynamic, it must be something, because it is a reflection of your external reality in this way. I think we are confusing you now.
No. I thank you. That helped me greatly. I mean, that I could talk about this for another hour.
You are taking the controls, dear ones, of your life. You are harmonizing yourselves with those things that are around you. Allow yourself also the patience of being in the still frame, knowing that you have the potentials there, that you can become something different. You can experience another experience about, and you can bring something of your own heaven to this earth. Because that is what you carry, each of you, in your own way, in your own joy, your own love.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
It's been our honor. You are the givers, you are the creators. Begin your dreams. Light yourself within. Step up. Begin your journey now.
You are a true friend.
So it is.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.